In 52 BC, Alesia was more than just a city. It was the heartbeat of free Gaul. As Caesar's legions closed in, a showdown loomed that would decide Europe's fate. Dive into a tale of genius tactics, fierce warriors, and a battle that changed history forever. Chapter 1. Alesia, the last bastion. Alesia stood tall, a beacon of hope in the vast Gallic landscape. Within its walls, warriors trained their eyes on the horizon. Families whispered prayers and children played, oblivious to the gathering storm. The city was their heart, their pride. But beyond Alesia's gates, the shadow of the Roman Empire crept closer. The drums of war echoed, and with each beat, the future of Gaul hung in the balance. Here, in this last stronghold, a resistance was brewing. The Gauls, with fire in their eyes and love for their land, prepared to face an empire. Alesia was their line in the sand. Chapter 2. The Shadow of the Eagle. Julius Caesar was not a man known for hesitation. As his legions marched, the land trembled. Every step they took painted a tale of past victories and an ambition that seemed insatiable. Caesar had a dream, a unified Roman Empire, stretching far and wide. But Alesia, it was a stubborn spot on his conquest map, a challenge he couldn't ignore. The Romans, disciplined and formidable, set their eyes on the city. They heard tales of Gallic valor and witnessed the sparks of rebellion. Caesar knew, conquering Alesia wouldn't just be another notch in Rome's belt. It would send a message, loud and clear. Rome's eagle was soaring, and its shadow was poised to envelop all of Gaul. Chapter 3. The Genius Tactic. Caesar stood atop a hill, eyes scanning Alesia's formidable defenses. Simply attacking wouldn't do. But a bold idea began to form. He envisioned a ring, not one, but two. The first to trap the city's warriors inside, the second to keep Gallic reinforcements out. It was risky, some said impossible, but Caesar's mind was made up. As the Romans worked tirelessly, building walls and trenches, the scale of the plan became clear. It wasn't just about siege, it was about outsmarting the enemy on two fronts. Rumors swirled within Alesia's walls. How could they break through two barriers with Caesar's troops sandwiched between? The Gauls, once confident, now felt the weight of uncertainty. But for Caesar, every stone laid and trench dug was a step closer to a masterstroke that might reshape history. Chapter 4. Messengers of Doom. Gallic scouts, swift as the wind, watched from hidden vantages as the Romans built their encircling traps. Their hearts raced. They had to get the message out. Racing against time, they navigated treacherous paths, narrowly evading Roman patrols. Reaching the reinforcements, they gasped out their findings. "Caesar's tactics are like none we've seen," one scout reported. Leaders of the Gallic reinforcements huddled, processing the gravity of the revelation. A double siege was a game-changer, altering their strategies and, more importantly, their confidence. Whispers spread through the camp, from seasoned warriors to young recruits, each face reflecting the same question. Were they walking into an elaborate Roman trap? The stakes were higher. The battle now not just of strength, but wits. The fate of Alesia, and all of Gaul, seemed to hang by a thread, waiting to see which side would make the next decisive move. Chapter 5. Thunder on the Horizon. The horizon changed. Once clear and serene, it now roared with the advance of the Gallic reinforcements. Their arrival was like a storm, fierce and unstoppable. The ground vibrated with the beat of their war drums, while their battle cries echoed, shaking the very air. Inside Alesia, hope flickered. The sight of the vast reinforcements rekindled spirits, evoking cheers and songs from atop the city walls. The Gauls outside lit huge bonfires, each flame promising a fight against the Roman encirclement. But with hope came tension. Rituals were performed, and war paint adorned every warrior. Leaders shouted strategies while mothers whispered prayers. This was their moment, their chance to tip the scales in Gaul's favor. The Romans, meanwhile, tightened their formations, preparing to face the twofold challenge. Caesar, ever watchful, gauged the might of the oncoming force. Both sides stood at the edge of a clash that would resonate through history. The storm was here, and Alesia would be its epicenter. Chapter 6. Battle of Wits and Might. The dawn's first light revealed the sheer magnitude of forces. As the sun crept up, the battlefield came alive, a vast canvas of motion and anticipation. For the Romans, discipline was the order of the day. Soldiers stood shoulder to shoulder, shields gleaming, spears poised. Caesar, in his iconic red cloak, directed troop movements with a meticulous eye. Every Roman knew they faced not just a physical battle, but a mental one. The Gauls, in contrast, drew strength from their passion and numbers. War horns sounded, rallying cries filled the air, and a sea of warriors surged forward. Each step was a statement. This was their land, their home. As the two forces collided, the earth seemed to shake. Steel met steel, shields clashed, and arrows darkened the sky. Tactical maneuvers were executed, countered, and reimagined on the fly. The Romans, with their tight formations, sought to repel the waves of Gallic assaults. Meanwhile, the Gauls, using their sheer numbers and guerrilla tactics, attempted to find weak spots in the Roman defenses. Stories of heroism emerged amidst the chaos. A young Gallic warrior saving his comrades, a Roman centurion holding the line against overwhelming odds. Each moment, each decision carried the weight of history. Through the smoke and dust, one thing became clear. This wasn't just a battle for Alesia. It was a defining clash of cultures, a test of Rome's imperial ambition against the raw, indomitable spirit of Gaul. The stakes were monumental, and the outcome uncertain. Chapter 7. Caesar's Gambit. The day wore on, and the tide seemed to sway neither here nor there. But amidst the cacophony, Caesar saw an opening, a fleeting opportunity. With a deep breath, he grabbed his helmet, signaling a bold intention. His decision was audacious: lead the charge himself. As he stepped forward, Roman and Gallic eyes alike widened in shock. Seeing their general in the fray, Roman morale soared. They rallied, pushing with renewed vigor. On the Gallic side, whispers spread like wildfire. "Caesar is on the field!" some exclaimed, while others wondered if capturing him could turn the tide. In that pivotal moment, the battle's dynamics shifted. With Caesar at the forefront, Romans found a deeper resolve, and the Gauls faced the challenge of countering this unexpected move. It was a gamble, a play that could end in triumph or tragedy. Caesar's audacity, his presence on the battlefield, became the focal point, symbolizing the stakes and the sheer unpredictability of the conflict. Chapter 8. The Fall of Freedom. Silence. It wasn't the quiet before the storm, but the stillness after it. The once roaring battlefield was now a scene of exhaustion and realization. The Romans, against the odds, stood victorious. Caesar's audacious move had turned the tide. The fallen lay everywhere, a somber reminder of the price of victory and the cost of defeat. Inside Alesia, faces that had once beamed with hope were now streaked with tears. The impenetrable walls of the city had witnessed the end of Gallic resistance. Surrender was a bitter pill, but the alternatives were far worse. Yet even in defeat, the Gauls held their heads high. Their spirit, though bruised, wasn't broken. They had given everything, fighting not just for a city, but for an idea. The dream of a free Gaul. As Caesar entered Alesia, there was no gloating, only a somber acknowledgement of the magnitude of his achievement and the resilience of his foes. Alesia wasn't just another conquest. It was a symbol. In the annals of history, the fall of Alesia became more than a battle. It marked the beginning of the Romanization of Gaul and the end of its age of freedom.